Hey guys, a lazy hello from
Hello,
me.
hello, hello, and the usual hello from again the no name person. But what should I name myself today? That's the real question.
Hmm.
Any
Do you have a
ideas?
name for us today?
Mm,
Uh, it could be 8 bit.
oh yeah, cool.
Mr. 8
8-bit
bit.
works. 8-bit works.
Which is another hint for the topic of our
Yeah.
podcast, which we
If
picked
the
from
title
Friday.
already wasn't so.
Oh, yeah, wait,
Well,
me dumb. Me forget there is
yeah, there
title.
is a title to the podcast, man. But yeah, so I guess today we wanted to talk about gaming and just gaming in general because it's something that we really, I don't know, it has been a part of our lives throughout our journey, I guess, and it's really close to my heart, that's for sure.
Yeah, I wish I could game for a living, man.
Oh, dude, I
See,
mean,
can you imagine practicing 17, 18 hours a day?
Honestly, it's
Can
a
you
lot of
imagine
work, and like these
practice?
games take a lot of dedication. These like esports games
I'm
specifically, dude.
willing to put in all of the hard work. I just need the
Yeah,
opportunity.
if we tell our parents like, "Arey, मुझको gaming करना है professionally," we'll get a
Yep,
slap on our faces.
yep, out of the house.
That's
Bye.
definitely a thing. But
No, man, but before that, we got to
yeah,
tell you that this is the first little pod that we're doing remotely. I, I mean, it's the 28th of March 2020 today,
yeah.
and the entire freaking world is
it's
just
it's
quarantined.
quarantine, dude.
Um,
It's self isolation time, and it's
Yeah,
very important. We encourage you guys to like continue this quarantine session and just be self isolated. It's not only just for your health, but it's also the it's important for your loved
yeah,
ones as well,
man.
because we like none of us want anyone to face or suffer the
Yeah,
consequences
it,
because of COVID
it is a
19,
super
and
scary
it's
time.
a big
Yeah.
issue. It's
So that being said, we promise that we're not going
Yeah,
to
we
be
were we were trying to
mind
we were
blunted.
trying to get
You
this
have
sorted out
yeah,
specifically, like
you have enough sources to talk about that. We're just here to tell you that we're gonna talk about something really cool, which is
yeah, we wanted
gaming.
to take your minds
So
off of it. And the other thing was we
yeah, like
ourselves were like so confused and so distraught about like how can we record a podcast from our own
yeah,
homes.
we spent almost 1 month like trying to go back and
Yeah,
forth, and because we were used to meeting up like
face to
freaking.
face
So like
and just
it took
sit
us
together and actually
yeah
talk about particular topics.
it took us upward of a month to really
Yeah.
figure out the podcast and how to do it. I mean, all we thought is you have to record a file, go to Apple and upload it, and the podcast is
Yeah, yeah,
ready.
we learned the hard way that there's a lot more involved.
Yeah. No, seriously, if you want to save some time, just send us a
Yeah,
message
we'll,
and
we'll
we'll
definitely
let you
love to
know how
help you
we.
guys out if anybody wants
Yeah,
any kind of help for
correct.
podcasting. But that aside,
Yeah,
let's talk
yeah, yeah.
about
Let's go.
gaming in general. In a way, we kind of are living in a game world, aren't we, right now? Disease spreading everywhere, no cure around. We
Yeah,
are quarantined in our own
who's gonna be
homes.
the superhero?
That's a weird scenario that I never thought 2020 would have. But anyway, um yeah, so I guess let's start about the first basic thing we can talk about was is when did we start gaming? Like, I guess gaming for
Mm,
me,
yeah.
the first time I ever played a game most probably was the Mitashi gaming console thing, whatever that used to come. When I think everybody
I
had that
remember
as a
those.
kid in India to an
Yeah,
extent in urban
like
areas.
brittle cheap plastic
Yeah.
that like it had bomber
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, the
like that
bomber thing,
parachute game
that
where
car game, and
there's this yeah. So you had this game where like there are enemies from parachutes and to kill them you have to hit a key on the keyboard.
also the
Like
bird, like you need to kill ducks, right?
oh
Duck
yeah
Hunt.
yeah yeah
That's
yeah.
what it was.
The
Duck Hunt.
duck go something like that.
Duck
Duck
Hunt
hunt.
was the one. That was
Oh
a
my god.
fun game,
Yeah,
dude.
that was the original Kinect
Also,
guys.
it
We
was
heard it here
wonky
first.
AF. Like honestly, it did not work properly. That gun did not work at all. I don't know how we kind of played it and we were happy playing it, but oh well,
Yep.
we did.
Yeah, man, that goes long ago.
Yeah.
Think I think I've played those, but I think the first really memorable gaming experience for me was a dark game called Dangerous Dave.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Dangerous Dave.
whoa!
Oh
It
shiz.
was shit. And I'm Indian, so I thought it's called Dangerous
Arey,
Dave.
arey, the
No, 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 no.
the way.
I went
That's
around entire
that's
year calling it
amazing. And
Dangerous
that's the
Dave.
first time I'm
And the
hearing it.
best part is, yeah, all my friends bought it, and then they told everybody that they know somebody who's played Dangerous Dave. Can we bring? So yeah, back
Dangerous.
to Dave, this
Bro,
Mario
like you couldn't have
glamorous
gone more
guy that
Guju if you
jumps
wanted
around.
to. Like, oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is to all my Gucci boys out there. Shout out, love from.
No, but
But
yeah, for me actually, other than like the console thing, I think the first time I actually ever was introduced to a proper console was the PlayStation, and that also was because I had gone to the US with my family because my dad had
yeah,
a tour over there. He was performing in the US, and he had a lot of concerts around, and we kind of had to like travel from city to city. We were staying in different people's homes, and it just so happened that these kids that I ended up meeting there really loved the game, right? And they were really happy to show me this particular gaming console called the PlayStation 2, and that's how I was introduced to this particular gem of a console for myself. And the first
yeah. A
game,
6, 7 year old
oh
minds were
yeah,
blown.
my mind was blown, dude. And the first game I ever saw being played on that was the Spider-Man one, like
Uh,
the movie game, like
oh,
Toby
the Goblin
Maguire
one.
wala Spider-Man, yeah. Like there was a game that had come out with him in it, or rather like his lookalike and his version of Peter Parker. And that game just blew my mind. Like I was so in love with that game. I wanted to be like, oh, I just want the PlayStation, man. I want to play this game so badly. It was an amazing experience, and that was the first time I was like truly enamored by gaming, like truly taken away by just the fact that we can be things that we never like thought of, and our imagination can go wild in that one particular like story and do whatever we want, and just playing that game was pure bliss, dude. Pure bliss.
Nice. Dude, I mean, even look at that. There's so much of nostalgia
Oh
right
yeah.
there, and it takes me back to like the first console gaming experience I had was on the PlayStation One, and I remember that I got up from sleep. It was like early
Uh-huh.
evening, and I'm just rubbing the sleep off my eyes because I hear this like sound coming from from one part of my house, and probably that there's a movie playing. And I go out and I see my dad freaking sitting on the ground, just like he's perplexed and he's looking at the screen with all his focus, and he's got this remote controller in his hand, and I'm like, what is happening? And at that time, I really didn't know what a console was or what anything was. I got to know that it was the first PlayStation, not like the smaller
Right.
one, but like the
It
big
was
one. You know,
gray in color, right? The first one or something. Yeah.
yeah, 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 silver
Yeah.
gray in color. Someone told me it's called a PS Extreme or something, but it was the first console that Sony had launched under the
Oh, okay.
PlayStation brand. And I remember he was playing this game called Independence Day, which was based on the movie
Right. Of
Independence Day,
course.
and it had all of these fighter planes just shooting and trying to take out the primary cannon of the alien mothership. And my God, so I think what we have in common over here, just you know, is the ritual of
Oh
passage.
yeah. Like there's something beautiful about
Somebody that
like
we
someone
know.
introducing you to this specifically,
Yeah,
right?
right. It's not like we walked into a store and
Yeah,
we bought a
yeah.
console. No, it didn't work
Like we
like that.
never knew
It was
about
very
this, right?
intimate.
Like it was just something really new to us,
Yeah,
and I wouldn't have thought about a PlayStation unless I saw someone game or play it. So
yeah. And just that awe,
yeah.
in that little 6 or 7 year old brain that just looks at this fast-paced action going around and just bullets flying
Oh,
everywhere
dude.
and
Not
cars
only that,
racing.
like
It
just
just makes your eyes pop.
just the fact that you could uh, be in control of what you're doing and the
Yeah,
actions of the character
I
you're
think
watching on screen, which was
that's a
which was
good point.
never done before, right? Like we always were the passive watchers, never the active person in that story. We just were
Very
visualizing
true.
things, but we weren't the person. And in this scenario, we could
Very
start
true.
being that person and do things we wanted to do, and that just I guess opened a whole new world for us. That was, and I
It
think this
can.
must be true
I think
for you
for
guys as well, right? Like I'm quite sure if you guys have gamed and if you guys have played
yeah,
anything.
you the listeners. What about yours?
Yeah.
How was your first
I
experience?
mean, we would love to hear
Did you
about
get
it.
it?
Definitely would.
Yeah, really. I mean, like send us a message,
Yeah.
reach out,
You.
but like go back to that. Like right now, as you're
Yeah.
listening to this, just go back to your first time when you just really saw a game, like literally for the very first time,
Exactly.
and how it just put you in awe, and all you wanted. Like me as a gamer, I've always enjoyed sitting back and watching other people play.
Yeah.
Like there is an intense amount of joy in that because when you're playing, you're sort of one with the character, right? So I mean, you don't get as much of the experience, but when you're spectating, you're like just sitting with bated breath.
That's true.
Because then it's like watching a movie. You can't control it. As a player, you know where you're going, you know what you're not doing,
Two
and
very
everything.
different
But
experiences, but I think I wouldn't
yeah,
pass on watching someone play as well because I think that's a lot of
yeah.
fun.
And then you remember being a kid and you're playing with, say, an elder brother or an older friend
Cousins.
or a father. Yeah, and then the boss level shows up and you just like shove the remote in their hand. Like, you do it.
Dude,
And they're like,
like I
the
think the
fuck?
stupidest thing
I was
that's
just,
happened with me was I really since I had a PS2 at home, we bought it like sometime early 2000s, and my cousin brother who was much older than me used to come over because he was studying here in Mumbai in a university, and he
Mhm.
was just like we used to start playing games. Well, I say we, he used to start playing games. I used to be given a controller with the wire plugged out because, and I never
What?
realized that I'm controlling nothing. It's just that he's
Oh
controlling
god.
the game, and I'm like, oh yeah, gaming. that was,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah, that
gaming,
was.
fam.
I think that was the biggest betrayal in my life when I learned about like I was lied to that I was playing the game when in reality I was just watching my brother play it and just being a passive
I
watcher there.
mean,
But as a kid, it didn't
that
matter,
whole
did it? It was
experience.
just a lot of fun.
It did.
Like,
It's amazing, right? 'Cause all you want to do
yeah,
is just. I mean, and can you look back and just see how intense amount of time can be spent playing a game and not even realize
definitely, dude.
could wake up and begin, and then mom comes in like, "Yo, did
The
what? Didn't
looks
I
you
just
get
wake
from your
up?"
mom, man. It's just
Yeah, like I just remember playing, just sitting on that chair, waking up the first thing in the morning and just beginning to
oh, dude,
play,
yeah.
and
Like,
and then before you know it, dinner is ready.
honestly, I think one of the biggest things people like sometimes I feel people undersell the aspect of watching people game as like, Arey, why are you watching someone game and you can play?
Yeah,
There's a reason why YouTube gaming is so famous and why people like to watch playing
yeah,
people
right.
playing games because as a kid, I remember, as I said, like my cousin brother used to play a lot when he used to come over, and I remember watching him play the whole Hitman series and complete the games, and I was just enamored.
Oh my
I
God,
never I
Agent
never knew what to do. I never
47.
knew what to do in that game.
That game's a
Yeah.
masterpiece, man. Have any of you all played it? Like, isn't it amazing? Probably one of the
Oh,
few
dude.
games I know that at its time at least where you could complete it in like
Yeah.
so many ways, and then you could get those different ratings of Madman and Silent Assassin. Like I remember I used to always go like guns out blaring, just
Dude,
freaking killing
Hitman
everybody.
was a mad game. You could do like I
It
think
was.
that and GTA are one of those games where you can kind of do whatever you want and like end the game
Oh
the way
my
you
god.
want it to end because
Open
it's an
freaking
open
universe.
world.
Just like keep on
Oh
driving with
yeah.
a 5-star
Oh yeah.
rating.
It gets mad
Sitting
though with
down
the five
watching the
star
world
rating in
burn.
GTA. It gets too much.
Yeah, right? The freaking
Oh
Navy SEALs
dude.
show up and they start bombing you
Oh
out.
man, the old days of gaming. But yeah, so like
Yeah. But you know what? Like one thing I want to add is that gaming was so much fun before I discovered cheat codes. Cheat codes were like it's like
oh,
discovering drugs.
dude, Age
Like
of
you get
Empires
this.
and the cheat codes in that.
Oh my
Age of
god, the
Empires.
freaking
Oh
Ferrari
yeah, yeah,
showed
yeah.
up.
What was it called? It was Big
Like
Daddy or
what is
some random name.
big?
It
Oh
was
yeah,
yeah, there
right,
was some
right,
random like cheat code, and I remember like the
dude.
first time one of my best friends told me about this, and he's like,
Huh,
just type this in Age of Empires,
huh.
like, and you'll find something really interesting happen, and I find like,
Uh-huh.
oh, I have the control of a freaking Ferrari with a machine gun. It has
Like
a freaking
in
machine gun.
the Bronze Age of humanity, there is a Ferrari with a machine gun,
Honestly,
killing all the elephants and the
that was
catapults.
that was
They
hilarious, man. That was,
hadn't foreseen that
I think
coming.
that was one of the best things.
But yeah, I think cheat codes like really took the experience away. They gave me like this great rush, like for the first 5 minutes, but then the games would just get over so fast. And you know that, like when you're gaming organically and you're using your own gray cells to just figure shit out, it's it's so much more complete as an experience. But then you cheat and then it's just done.
No, that's why I don't like to cheat in gaming in general. At least as much as I can, like not look at playthroughs and walkthroughs and all those kind of things. So
Yeah, oh yeah, walkthroughs,
yeah.
tutorials. I mean, they're another big
I mean,
category that
when you're really stuck,
really,
I guess you can always take the help of walkthroughs.
yeah.
But
Yeah, but how do you really define it? Like, do you have a personal barometer that defines
I
really tough?
mean, when you've
Is it like,
so one thing is when a boss is really hard and you can't beat the boss.
oh,
That's just like,
bosses still scare
oh
me like
yeah.
shit. Like I have like nervous sweats and sweaty palms, weak
No,
palms are
I mean,
sweaty.
bosses are one thing. I guess you can't really through for bosses. You can kind of understand how where their weak points are, how what are the like how
Yeah,
good strategies you can use to beat a boss, but that wouldn't
yeah,
always help
yeah.
you unless like you yourself get better at the game. But I think puzzle
True.
games at times when you were stuck in a level and you didn't know what to do, and sometimes like your mind kind of farts, right? Like it just you have a brain fart and you don't know what's happening and how to solve a puzzle, and then you're like, okay, I think it's
Yeah,
time to just look at a walkthrough
I
online.
know.
But I guess
Dude, but like on a side note, what's like the longest you've gone playing? Like if you had a clock in hours
I think this is
and a
I
stretch.
think this brings us to a good point of talking about our fondest memories in gaming. Right, like we've already been doing
Oh
that,
yeah,
but I
let's do
think
that.
this
Let's do
this
that.
specific thing kind of
Yeah, this I think this whole
yeah
episode should be titled
yeah
"Fondest Memories." Like,
like
because it is. Like, gaming is such a
honestly
trip. Talking about gaming takes
honestly,
you
but
back.
I think this specific thing, that the question that you asked, like how was the longest I've gone while
Yeah.
playing, does come into my fondest memory because it was with my best friends like from school. It's my group that
Hmm.
I've still
Okay.
like kept in contact with, and I talk to them every
Pretty
day.
tight
Yeah.
grip. Yeah.
So I guess it's
Tight
with them
people.
that I started when we started playing COD, like early days of COD with Modern Warfare 2. And Modern Warfare 2, you
Yeah.
used to have like those LAN parties, right? Like you used to just play multiplayer on and just continuously spend time. And the thing was, when that had come out, it was all like end of the 2000s kind of era, I guess 2008, 2009. We were still in school. We had a lot of free time. We did not have to study anything, did not need to worry about anything. So we just ended up playing COD all night. We used to sleep over at each other's places, play COD for
Yeah.
hours,
And then
play a
and
whole
if you
weekend of
yeah,
COD
and if
and
you
not get tired.
fall asleep, put toothpaste on your face.
Oh, dude, it was. I think we were the dirtiest people we could be while playing COD. Like whether it be verbally or physically, because
Yeah.
we didn't
Yeah.
care for a
Just
shower.
that no toothpaste was
Yeah,
involved.
we
Yeah.
didn't care for
Yeah.
a shower. We didn't care for personal hygiene, and verbally because when you're playing COD, you're playing COD. You can't control the trash talk that comes out. You get you say a lot of
Hmm.
things. You kind of regret and kind of not regret. But yeah,
Yeah, it's justified because you're
it's
playing.
it's COD, man. It's COD. It's always like that. I think
Yeah.
that's one of those games that'll always make you either rage when playing online with people, or just like
Yeah.
boost your ego. I
Nice.
it's a lot of fun. Have you played COD a lot in general?
No, I haven't. I've played a lot of Counter Strike, but not Call of Duty.
Oh,
Like
okay.
yeah. So my exposure to LAN gaming or really first person shooters has been a little limited. I've always mostly been into car
Right.
races, so the entire NFS saga has been based
Huh.
like just with me NFS Carbon like just taking the first spot in my heart always, always, freaking always. But COD, no, really. I've always heard people rave about it, really, but I never got a chance to play. How did you get introduced? Like, how old were you when you did COD?
God, I guess was when was it? I think it was about I was about 15, 16 years old. 16 years old when
Oh,
I
nice.
got introduced to God. That's 9 years back now, I guess. Yeah. Uh,
Same
no,
time.
actually more than that. I think
And
then I was
did you
14. I
PS
was
it or did
14
you
years
PC
old.
it?
Now that I think about it, I was 14 years old
Ah,
when I got introduced to God.
wow.
Yeah, because I remember when I say 2008. Yeah, I was 14 in 2008. So my God, that that was a
Yeah,
while back.
no, no, no. We're not going into that bad trip. But did you PC it or did you PS it?
PS because I think for me PC
Yeah, it was
hasn't been the
pretty
biggest
interesting that
console
you could.
for play like in general.
It was pretty interesting that you could do shooters with PS. Like, I don't know how many
Yeah, it definitely is better with PC. I'll give you that because from what I know, PC you have more control with your aim and you can do a lot more and you can move a lot easier.
Yeah.
While the PS is I'd say a little more clunkier in your movement, and especially when it comes to esports, you'll see people using your keyboards and mouse more than PS controllers.
Yeah,
There are
man.
players,
I
professional
think
players who
that,
do use
yeah,
controllers, but like you need to be that like good to be able to use that.
for sure. For sure. I can imagine.
But yeah, I've been more of a PS player throughout my life. But more than anything, like as a even
Yeah.
earlier on, before the core years and before the I guess like in general PS years, I'd say the one of the first
Uh-huh.
games I ever played, and I think I still to this day love those games and will any day play those games, are the Pokemon series games. Like in general, any
Oh
Pokemon
my
game.
god! I am just. Can you believe it? Right now, I wish I could. If we had a video feed, I'm holding a Game Boy SP in my hand right now.
Oh wow, dude!
Oldie
Game
but
Boys
Goldie,
were the jam, man.
and I have my Pokemon Fire Red card inside.
Oh, dude, I'm
Yeah, this is
jealous.
from those
I'm
old
jealous.
days.
I wish I had
Like
my SP
that
right
Game
now.
Boy gaming. So like, yeah, go on, tell me. I
No, no,
completely
no, no. Go
hijacked
for
your
it. Go
Game
for
Boy
it.
story.
Like I want to hear you.
So no. All I'm saying is that as a kid, I never had a Game Boy. Like I bet and pleaded, but I never
Uh
got
huh.
one. The closest I got to having a Game Boy was having a Pokemon card deck. So that's all. And then that's when my parents drew the line. Fortunately for me, I had this elder kid. You always have these elder kids that that you admire
Yeah.
of, and he knew something which was called an emulator, which I didn't know was going to blow my freaking mind off. And then when he downloaded that emulator, PC,
Dude, yeah.
I got to play Pokemon finally.
Emulators are the thing. They'll help you play these
So,
games
so
again.
how did what kind of Pokemon games have you played on the Game
So
Boy? You had the DS, right?
before that, I had the Game Boy Advance, NSP. Both like I've played throughout. So I've played the Fire Red. I've played the gold and silver eras. I've played the ruby and sapphires. I have played the diamond and pearls.
Whoa.
So yeah, I have played these years of Pokemon. The only ones I think I stopped after Diamond and Pearl, I guess, because I didn't buy any of the Nintendo consoles afterwards, and I
Yeah.
never played.
Though you do really want to buy the Switch,
I do
right?
really want
Whenever
to buy
you're
the
telling
Switch.
me.
Like, I think I'll buy it at some point because I do want to play. One of the biggest like things I do want to do now is start playing more of the Mario series and the Legend of Zelda series because I really wanted to see what Legend of
Ah,
Zelda was about and what the whole
yeah,
Mario's gaming aspect was because I've seen the other versions. I've seen people playing it. I've played like random versions that I could find on the internet for to download for your PC and all, but those aren't the real Nintendo games, right? When you come for Mario,
yeah.
I really wanted to see how difficult and how fun those platforming games were because
Do they also have like a new Pokemon for
yeah,
the
they
Switch?
do. They
Oh
have a
fuck!
really nice Pokemon game that has come out recently.
Oh my god!
It's
Now I
it's called
want to buy
it's
the Switch.
Pokemon Sword and Shield. Before this there was a Sun and Moon version. Now it's Sword and
Okay.
Shield. Sword and
Was the Sun and Moon version also in collaboration with Above and Beyond?
uh,
Pokemon Above
oh
and
my god,
Beyond.
no,
I
no,
don't know.
no. So Sun and Moon was on the previous.
Yeah, bad joke alert.
Sun and Moon was on the previous Nintendo console. I think it was on the Wii U, if I'm not wrong. And then came Sword and Shield, which is for the Nintendo Switch. And Nintendo Switch, like it's apparently a really good game to play. Sword and Shield has a lot of things you can do. There's a professional league you can actually battle in with
Mm.
Pokemon now, and trading has become a really different
Remember
thing.
how annoying it was when Gary always got in front of you, like, and he always had Pokemon that would beat your
Oh,
ass,
dude, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it's
and he's
always
the
so.
fucking grandmaster at the end.
Gary always
Always.
was the one who had the Pokemon that was your weakness, right? Like the type that was your weakness
Yeah.
at the time.
Ooh, okay.
So
Makes sense.
I
Makes
mean,
sense.
it's always set up to be like that. You need to beat your rival at the end of the day,
Mhm.
right? Like that's what these games are about. Just your journey and how much you've improved, and then your rival that you always have, like you're trying to one up each other, but then you're improving each other because you're working that hard to beat each other. But that's also because I saw a lot of the Pokemon series,
Yeah, it's a
and that's
very interesting way of
yeah.
looking at it.
But I think it's a Japanese cartoon and anime thing that you have rivals that push each other to become better. I'd say. Like
Yeah.
again, I think I've played a few anime games here and there. One of the biggest ones that I've played was Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, and Naruto is, I think,
Hmm.
I I would definitely say it's my favorite series ever. As much as it does, like people can say it has plot holes or whatever here and there, and there are things that sometimes don't make the most sense or can't work here and there. But I say that series really speaks to me, and I love watching. I loved watching that series. I can rewatch it anytime I want, and I don't know. I just think I kind of connect to that character a lot. So playing as him in Ultimate Ninja Storm was such a fun experience because we got to do the moves that we saw him doing in the TV show or rather the anime, and just see the story progress in a gaming format, kind of,
Mhm.
which was like a very interesting way to kind of go about this particular series. I think actually not all, most animes that are really popular seem to have like a game version of them come out because these studios collaborate with different like gaming companies and kind of start creating
Yeah,
other
I'm glad they
aspects.
do. You have all the more to live out
Yeah.
of.
But what about you? Anything like any game that comes to your head that like that might be obscure, that might just be you who've played it, but
Oh
like you
man.
really, really love?
Yeah, yeah. I think there was this. So there is this game, okay, and it's the one I hold closest to my heart
Right.
because I had a lot of gaming time with my dad.
That's
Who,
beautiful to hear, man.
who, yeah, he played it initially. I mean, I couldn't figure the
Right.
shit out of it, so I used to just watch, and it's called Disciples.
Uh-huh.
And the version I played was called Sacred Land, and
Okay.
it's about this story set in like the magical medieval ages, where it's the fight of good versus
Yeah.
evil, and you're the Holy Empire, and there are these evil factions called the Undead Hordes who are taking over, and you have to stop them. So it's pretty much strategy and very interesting game, and I loved it so much that I kept in touch, watching all the news, and those guys did develop versions later and later. And I think right from the early 2000s, they developed like about 4 to 5 sequels,
That's interesting.
and yeah, and in the end, it was so cool. They were producing like their finest game ever, and they ran out of budget. And I think
Oh
something
shit.
happened where a lot of fans came together and pooled in
Oh
money.
wow, they crowdfunded
Uh,
it. That's crazy.
Yeah, so the developers could finish the game, and it turned
What's the
out
name of the
so
game again?
beautiful. It's called Disciples.
Disciples. Okay.
Uh, yeah, and I think the version, I think by Akela Studios,
All right.
Russian developers, I think, but they've made a beautiful story. And like, just the whole elves and you
But
have
that's awesome, man. Like
you have
I feel like just
yeah,
because of the passion that you seem to have for this particular game, it just seems like it'll be a really fun game to try out.
yeah,
So if I can ever get my hands on it,
yeah,
I'd love
right?
to see it.
Yeah, it would be awesome, and it's pretty intense. And sometimes it's just fun, like in this era of high graphics, to go back and play a game that was
Yeah,
built.
yeah, yeah.
It has its own certain rustic appeal to it.
But that's
It just takes
that's
you back.
amazing. So like what were the what
Yeah,
kind of a game was it? Like was it like a adventure type or just fighting or what was
yeah.
it?
So it was basically a turn by turn game. So you have your turn, and you have and you have different fortresses that you have to occupy, and then
Oh,
you
okay.
get more territory,
So
and you get more
it's a
revenue.
really early version of that turn-based kind of game that you've seen spawn
Yeah, yeah,
from those eras, right?
yeah. Correct, correct,
Huh.
correct. So it's got that kind of feel and very interesting. And then that was PC. So I mean, I still miss my PC. Like I just hate how the entire world shifted so easily to laptop.
Dude, I know. I
Uh,
mean, you can
I
see. So if you want to game, right? Even today, you'll see
yeah,
people gaming on PCs rather than laptops. That there's a reason why
right.
people build
Something about a
people
PC.
build proper rigs because for gaming takes a lot of like hardware space. Like you need a lot of you need a lot of SSD space. You need a lot of like different components for these games to work properly, and you get the best experience you can. Uh, and it kind of becomes difficult for you to do it with in just laptop because a laptop is more so for your work, right? Like I don't think gaming is the
Yeah.
thing you can do on all laptops. There are some like Dell removed the Alienware
Uh-huh.
series that was specifically for gaming, and it does work well for gaming. But I would still
But
say
it's so hardcore advertised in Big Bang. Like it's everywhere. Like
Alienware is
because
an
it's like it's
amazing PC or rather laptop.
yeah, I think Harvard even wears like a small pin on his turtleneck of the Alienware logo, and it's always there on Sheldon's
Dude,
laptop.
yeah, Alienware is great for like gaming, but I'd still say people build PCs because they want the best experience they can have, and
Yeah,
that's why even I want to check out at some point how to build a nice rig for myself and maybe play more games. Right for the time being, I'm just playing the PS4, and to be honest, like I think I've played some amazing games in the PlayStation series.
wait, tell us something about Rocket League.
Oh, Rocket League! Oh my God, Rocket League
I
is.
miss playing that
I
game,
think
and
I
I
think
never used
it's
to
one
miss
of my
playing that
favorite
game.
games to play in general
Yeah,
because
I mean, yeah,
it's just balls out fun. That's what it is. Um,
yeah, literally a
yeah, yeah,
football and
yeah.
a
So
racing
I
car.
if you guys are hearing about Rocket League for the first time, let me give you a premise here. Rocket League is basically a game where you're controlling an RC car. Basically, you're like a toy car that can boost and jump and do flips. And what you have to do is score a goal on the opponent's side. So basically, you're playing football with the RC cars, and you can. Well, the most fun thing in that is you can fly your cars because the boost can work as a rocket booster kind of thing, and you need to angle yourself and fly. And the, like people who play it professionally, there are and not kidding, there are professional leagues that they play tournaments for money. You can win like 500 grand from playing like Rocket League, but that's when you're actually that good. But yeah, so I just started playing that game because I found a trailer of it and I just found it really interesting, and I was like, okay, I want to try this game out. And the first time I played it, I was like taken away because I think it was so stupid. Nobody when it came out, nobody knew how to play the game, right? It was just kind of balls out fun, and nobody knew what to do. They were just like kind of kicking the ball around, trying to score. That's all it was. But soon, like people started learning, started improving. I started improving myself on my own. Like they improved the game. They put training menus where you could train your skills, become better. I got a friend of mine to play with me. He also like got introduced to Rocket League because of me, and then he also started playing it a lot. And I think in the last 4 5 years, we've just like whenever we are bored, we'll just call each other at night, like, dude, want to play Rocket League, and just put it on and start playing like online games against random people around the world, and it's just a lot of fun, man.
Dude, what does online gaming feel like? I've never got much experience about that. How is it so different from playing against the computer?
Online game, you're playing against a person a computer to an extent is a very set or specific amount of skills you'll get against them, right? Like when you set a difficulty,
Correct.
you'll have a particular I don't know task you need to do, and they have a particular difficulty where they'll perform actions to a certain extent, but it doesn't go beyond that. When it comes to online gaming, whether it be FIFA or COD or whatever, whoever you're playing against, you'll always see that everybody has a different playing style, and it's very difficult to actually clutch up in difficult moments. I'd say like when you're if I take Rocket League as an example, you're playing against people who might be really bad, but they know what they're doing and they can do it efficiently. You'll have a tougher time dealing with them. Sometimes like people who are trying to do tricks and are really good with handling the ball don't perform as well as people who can just efficiently score. So it's just small things that can really change the game. But it's a lot of fun because it's very unpredictable. That's what online gaming is. It's very unpredictable, and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to have an easy match, tough match, what the person is like. And sometimes you make friends while playing online, dude. Like there are times when I'm playing Rocket League with my friend, and because our
Mhm.
usernames are a particular, I don't know, like it's a reference to some series we are watching or whatever. Like our opponent will message, oh, like I also watched this, and it's just like
Oh
while
yeah,
playing the game, we
that's
start
great.
talking, making jokes. Sometimes we'll get angry. That's also fun because you kind of laugh at the fact that oh they're getting angry because they're losing, and sometimes we lose and we start getting angry, which is like fair enough. Turnabout is fair play. so so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know but online gaming, I think the fun of it is the unpredictability and the fact that you're playing against an actual person, man. It feels more real. It feels
Hmm.
more, I don't know, exhilarating to an extent, I can say.
True, true, man. And I think that brings us to an interesting turn because I mean, a lot of gaming though is marketed to people, and then they, yeah. So most people try to sell you gaming with the whole graphics or it's a great storyline. But I think one of the main reasons we game is because it takes us to a happier place. It just takes you to this utopian world where everything is suddenly fine,
Dude,
and that fiction just
definitely.
becomes
Like, I think
reality for the
this
next
one
couple of
example in this
hours.
I can give, and it's, I think, one of my favorite, if not my favorite gaming series ever that I've played,
Hmm.
is God of War,
Oh
where
my God, good old from here, boy.
dude, Kratos and his story. I don't know,
Yeah,
being that character and just playing that game, because originally it started out with like you just being a rage monster where you're just killing monsters and people, and you're a Spartan in an old Greek mythological world, and you're
yeah, yeah.
just you're just being the most ragey, angry man you can.
Yeah, and
And
then suddenly they went on Logan on.
then,
Ah.
and you wanna kill a god of war because there's a whole story. I don't know if I want to spoil it for you guys, but it is more than 10 years old now, that series, so
Yeah,
maybe I can spoil it for you guys. So again,
do, do.
spoiler alert. But I'd say like in that series you're basically a soldier from Sparta who's a general basically in his army in Sparta, and he's going and fighting wars, and at the brink of defeat when he was fighting another clan, when I think it was the barbarians, if I don't remember exactly which one, but he was fighting a clan and he was about to lose. He asks Ares, the god of war, to help him and aid him in the fight, and he'll do anything that Ares asks him to do. And that's how the story basically starts for God of War, and you're kind of the slave for Ares. And when while you're doing the bidding of Ares, he makes you kill your own family, which is why and that's when the game takes a turn, when like you realize that Kratos, when he starts off, you see him wanting to jump off a cliff because he's killed his own family, because he was like he thought himself to be that powerful, and because he was under the control of Ares, he listened to just what Ares wanted, and he ended up killing his own family, and his family's ashes covered his body. That's why he was that pale and white, and that's why he was called the Ghost of Sparta. And
Um,
that's how the story is like starts. They just put you in a scenario where you're just about to jump off a cliff because you're not happy with what you've done.
and this is the beginning of the first God of War?
Oh, this is the first. Yeah, this is the
Okay,
beginning of the
okay.
first God of
Yeah,
War.
I know. I don't think I've played this. I think I've played the second one from which he's a
Sisters of
big
Fate.
ass
Yeah,
god, and then he just gets reduced to a puny human,
yeah.
and
So
there's this
he's
statue trying to bust his ass, big
oh
ass
yeah.
statue.
That was the second God.
Second one.
That was a lot of fun as well, dude. I think
Yeah,
that whole series. The first one was just you raging out, but the second one I think is when they started
yeah.
introducing a full story into the game.
True.
because
True.
that's when I think I started seeing like a lot of character development. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
not as much in the beginning for Kratos. You kind of learn a backstory for him, but the
Mm-hmm.
I think best God of War game. Like there was the PSP games that came out, God of War games that came out on PS2, PS3. The God of War
They never
3
did
game.
PC, right?
No, never on PC. It's a PS
Yeah.
exclusive game, so it's
Yes.
only
Yes.
on the PS. You won't even find it on Xbox.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's basically like God of War 3 was the story where you're like genuinely fighting all the gods from the Greek mythology, which is
Hmm.
a lot of fun. There's a really fun scene with Aphrodite as well, but NSFW
Ooh.
stuff.
Ooh.
So yeah,
Okay.
but God of War that came out on the PS4, they completely revamped the story. It's a sequel to the original series because at the end of God of War 3, you kind of destroy the world by killing all the gods, and there's a plague and everything happening, and that's all what happens. But God of War 4 is just takes that story and I don't know, elevates it to such an amazing level.
Come here, boy.
Specifically, oh, dude, yeah, boy,
Boy,
the
come here,
the
boy.
the whole Kratos like persona, his
Yeah.
character becomes so different. He's learned from his mistakes, his past. He wants to do so much more. He has a son who he
Hmm.
wants to, raise into becoming a better man, and he doesn't know what to do because he's never like had a bond with someone as like since his family, and at that time he was a really big warmonger in a way you can call him because he
Yeah.
really loved the art of war and battle. But this is where he's
Dude.
mellowed out and improved
Yeah.
his life, and then things happen throughout the story. You're kind of put into a world of Norse mythology now. From Greek, we shift to
Hmm.
Norse mythology, and you learn a lot about Norse gods. And your story starts with like your wife has died, and you want to spread the ashes over like a particular
Oh.
mountain,
Okay.
right?
When you say North, you mean Vikings and stuff, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
Thor and Odin and
Hmm.
Balder, Loki, all these kind of gods. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's
I'm a
the
chill kind of guy, so I'll just be low.
My God.
Bad joke alert. Yeah,
Jeez.
go.
Jeez, dude. No, but this particular series just took a turn for the better
Hmm.
and revamping it and the way they made this game. I won't spoil this game because it's very recent. Well,
Yeah,
I
it's
wouldn't say
like
very
as
recent, but
recent as
it is.
last year, like
Yeah,
2018-ish,
I
right?
guess it was 2018. Yeah, but
Yeah, you
I
you completed it in 19. I remember.
did I think I completed it before I
Okay,
it
before.
took me it took me a while to complete it because it's a very long game and
Mm-hmm.
it goes on for a while. It's a
Mm-hmm.
long story. You have a lot to cover. You learn a lot. There are hidden secrets throughout. So it's a very good game to play, and I highly recommend you. If not playing it, watch a walkthrough or watch a playthrough. Not a walkthrough, rather, watch a playthrough. And someone I can recommend you watching is
Yeah.
Jacksepticeye. He's a really good YouTuber who has a really good big passion for these kind of games, specifically like God of War and Last of Us. And again, Last of Us is a very good game if you've ever get the chance to play that game.
Yeah, and it's
But
also
yeah,
possible that some of you don't know what a walkthrough the playthrough is. And I mean, it's pretty simple. I didn't know it till a while ago. All you do is you go to YouTube and type the name of any game that you wanted to play but you
yeah,
never got to play, or you played at some point and you just type in walkthrough next to it or gameplay, and it
I would
just
say
basically
type gameplay because walkthrough will be
gameplay.
more so telling you what to do in a level
Yeah, gameplay, right?
gameplay.
And then you just have like these really entertaining,
YouTubers, personalities playing the game.
yeah,
Yeah.
they'll just record a video of them playing the game, and some of them would have some kind of commentary on, some wouldn't. But
Oh
it's a really
yeah.
interesting experience. Like sometimes I don't want to invest because I know that I'm short in time. So in cases like
Yeah.
that, I don't want to
And
invest
sometimes you
into a
don't
new
want to
game.
spend, right? Sometimes you don't want
Yeah,
to spend on a
yeah,
game
you don't
and
want to spend, or you just want to replay an old game. You can't find it.
yeah.
So you just look at a gameplay video, and it's honestly like 2 3 hours. Just fun. Time goes by. I think sometimes I enjoy that better than watching a series or a movie. It's much more fun.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think one of the biggest things I learned from watching gameplay was the love that other people have for specific games, right,
Hmm.
can be actually passed on to you. I think for me
Definitely.
this happened with this game called Shadow of the Colossus.
Ooh. Yeah, yeah, we've been talking
And
about
I think
it.
I've told you about this game before, right? Like it's I never heard of this game. It was a while back. It came out, I think, in the PS2, and I just saw this the YouTuber I spoke about, Jacksepticeye, play it, right? And he was talking about how this game is his favorite game, and his love for the game stems from the fact that the amount of work and effort that the person who created the game and crafted the game put into it, like the storyline, this scale of things, because the whole game is about you trying to bring back someone who's dead, whom they never cleared up if it was his girlfriend or some a lover or sister or whoever that was. But the guy you're playing as, Wanda, wants to bring that person back. And basically, to do that, you have to go to these secret lands, and in these forbidden lands, you kind of have to kill off 16 giants, 16 colossi. And that's why it's called Shadow of the Colossus, where you're trying to fight these 16 different colossus and trying to defeat them in different ways. And it's a very simple game. It doesn't have more than that. It's just you trying to fight these colossi. But the beauty in that game, the way it's designed, and the scale of it is so amazing that I think it's just worth your time spending, just, riding around in that area and just looking at those giant creatures. And I don't know, I think it's such a beautiful game, and it's a very nice way to spend some time just watching it, especially watching him play it. Like, his love for the game really transcended to me, and I was like, I wish I could play it. And luckily, recently on the PlayStation Store, it turned out to be free and I could play it. So recently I started playing that game, and I genuinely can't believe that I missed out on this particular game when it came
Oh,
out
you
in the
started
PS2.
already?
Yeah,
Started
yeah, yeah.
recently, right?
I have beaten about 9 colossi now in that.
Ooh, nice.
It's a beautiful game, dude. I think I posted a picture of it as well on my socials just while like playing it, and I was just so, I don't know. I was in a trance while playing it, because I can't tell when time goes away while playing that game, dude.
That is the state of flow, my friend.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful when gaming gives you.
But that just reminds me, like, in terms of like consoles and everything, what has been your favorite particular console to play on? Because I think it's something that everybody
Does
has a
PC
different
count
console,
as a
right?
console?
PC, yeah. I mean, you can call it. It's not a particular console, but yeah, PC counts,
Yeah.
right? So,
To be very honest, I've never really bought into the PlayStations or Xboxes, though I
right.
was gifted a Nintendo Wii once.
But you did have a like Game Boy, right? So you can
Yeah,
call
yeah,
it
yeah.
a console.
I know I didn't have a Game Boy. I mean, I had an. It just recently a friend of mine found one in a flea market, and he bought it just for like old time's sake
Oh
because he
wow.
used to own it, and then he got to know I never had it, so he's such a nice dude. He just said, "Hey, you know what? Have it for as long as you want." And I have a bunch of cartridges with me right now. Like I can just open up the box right now. Like it's right here, and
Yeah.
these small little gray plastic cassettes and these
Yeah, those cartridges,
118
man.
in one game.
Oh yeah, damn, those things
Yeah,
had
I
like
have Power
180.
Rangers,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
Pokemon Emerald version, I have
Oh damn,
Yoshi's Island, I have Cricket,
dude.
which was big here in India,
Oh
Super
yeah,
Mario
yeah, yeah.
Kart, I have the Mummy. Damn, this is like back in a candy store, except the candy store was
That's so
candies of
cool, man.
plastic that go inside a Game Boy.
That's so cool, man. Like,
I have Digimon. Oh my freaking god, I have Digimon.
dude, Digimon was a shout, man. As a kid, I remember watching that.
Herbie
So
fully
much fun.
loaded.
Oh
Dude,
wow. But I
yeah.
don't think that would be a fun game to be
Power Rangers.
honest.
Yeah, I just well, Lindsay Lohan was a fun game, but yeah,
Oh
that went
yeah.
downhill pretty quick. So yeah, slightly off topic, but yeah. So I guess then my favorite console, even though I have a Game Boy now, I played it. My favorite console would still be the PC because
Right.
it was so freeing and so liberating to play on a PC. You know, you have your
Oh yeah,
second mouse board,
definitely, dude.
you have your WASD keys that we shall never forget. till the end of time.
I really need to learn how to use those keys properly, man. I'm
Yeah,
so
dude.
bad in the like while playing on the PC because I've never been used to it, right? So
Yeah, I can
I'm like the
imagine.
complete opposite side of like, oh, give me a
Yeah,
controller, I'll be good. If I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
have a
yeah.
controller, I'm so bad at gaming.
Fair. No, I mean, I guess like a controller is a whole different experience. I think it's got to do a lot with what you grow up on, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
sort of grew up on a PC, so
I
I've
think yeah,
always
that's why we differ, right? Our experiences here
yeah.
are like
Like you give me
you've been more
the
of a PC
latest
person.
cutting edge laptop, and I'd still
Yeah.
be like, hey, you know what? I take half the money and build.
No, you know what? I think building a rig is more expensive than getting a laptop now,
Oh yeah, I
to be
mean, if you go
honest.
to the gaming level rig for sure. But like, isn't that such a beautiful process? Like literally giving
Oh
birth
yeah,
to a
like you're
child.
crafting your own cons. Dude, you're
Yeah,
getting each and every part. It's amazing.
right. It's just bespoke, like just custom made for you. Nothing, and then you can
No,
like attach six freaking monitors and like
yeah,
use
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
It is,
some people do the 6 month thing. I don't think that's necessary. You can do. People usually. So you'll
hey,
see a lot of
overkill is
gamers doing
always fun, so why not?
overkill.
You're a god of war, man. Why would you say that?
You'll see people do the three console, three monitor
Monitor,
thing,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
where
yeah, yeah.
you'll have like, but that's usually people who are doing like streaming and all those things. They need the other monitor to keep track of if the stream is going on or no, the chat, what all is going
Mhm.
on with that. So yeah, it's a very interesting way to game. But for me, I think it's the opposite part, right? I come from the console side of things, and for me, even the PS consoles, I can say PS2 was my favorite console to play on.
Mhm.
Just because of the fact that there were the amount of games I got to play on that freaking console, dude. Because I remember getting it cracked. Like cracked, I mean like
I was just gonna
uh,
ask you.
if you know what I mean by saying
Yep.
cracked is
Yeah,
like
all you did was get an eye patch and put on your
yeah,
heart to
yeah,
flash
you're
crossbones
you're
on it.
basically rooting your PlayStation, and you're doing something that allows you to play like pirated CDs. And at the time, we never knew what all this was, right? Like we
Yeah.
were like, oh, let's get it cracked because we'll get cheaper games. Nobody knew that
Yep.
you're kind of buying pirated games, which is in hindsight, I think like we were this was bad for the studios. But
Yeah.
well, today you can't do that anyway. Like I would rather buy
Oh,
and
you
own the
you
studio.
can't root a PS4?
You can, but then you can't play online. So
Really? There's no bypass to that?
yeah, no by phone. There must be someone must have done something, but I'd
Yeah.
rather not. I want to creators, like
Of course. I
it's
mean,
good.
older and we know better now.
Yeah, like they've worked so hard. They spend
Yeah.
like their hours and hours to make that game, and then if we can't even shell out a little bit of money for the amount they've put, like the amount of time they've put into making that and the experience you're getting, you should pay, man. I mean, still, I would say PS2, $50 a game was the best thing ever,
Yeah. Yeah.
honestly. Because I remember playing games like Downhill Domination, which is, I'll tell you, like one of the best games I've played with my friends. Like it's a cycling game. You're basically mountain biking, and you're kind of racing against like 16 other people. And oh my god, there were like 20 plus levels. I remember playing each and every one alone with my friends, with my cousins. That game was so good, dude. That was
Nice.
an amazing game. Bandicoot Nitro Kart was, oh my god, so much fun. There was this random game called Speed Kings, something like that, Speed Kings or something, which was basically a
Not Speed Racer,
motorbiking
right?
game. No,
Oh,
not
okay.
Speed Racer. It was a motorbiking game. It was I
Okay.
don't know how I had found it. It was just because you could get $50 a CD, like any game you wanted.
Yeah, I mean,
I used to
it's
just
just,
be like, "Oh, this game looks interesting. Let's take
yeah,
it." so,
this. Give me that.
so
Give me
the
this. Give me that. Give
the
me everything.
oh my god, dude! Like we used to, me and my friends used to buy stacks and stacks of CDs and just play like Dragon Ball Z and this and that, and oh my,
Budokai.
it was so good, dude. Budokai Tenkaichi was a very good game. That was a lot of fun as well.
Ah, man, we can just go on and on, right? And that's why
I
we
swear, dude. Like I
I
think
think
we've been.
gaming has to be a main topic, and we probably are going to keep coming out
Oh
with these
yeah, I
more
think
more episodes.
I think we want to do a lot more here because there's so much to discover in gaming. Like
Yeah, and
there's
it's very close to
esports,
both of our
there's
hearts. Like
the
I think it's
industry itself, there's
yeah,
how gaming is growing in India. Like there's
yeah.
so much to talk
Eight bit is going to take the lead because that guy is a pro. He
No, no.
could
I think
he could
like
game for a living, but he's a humble dude, so he is gonna play a guitar for a living
no.
and make
Honestly,
music.
I wanna make music is the main thing, but that is a separate like
Yeah.
I guess topic in and
Well, if
of
you
itself.
were gaming for a living, you could you could
Oh,
build a
dude.
game and then add the music to it and then
I
do all the
mean, the cool part here is one of my best friends is working as a game designer. You know what? That's cool. Hey, he's living
that
his dream,
you're
right?
gonna have a game in your name where you're gonna catch up on a lot of inspiration from him and do something.
Dude, but honestly, like I think there's so much more we could talk about here. Like, I think we wanted to talk about marketing within gaming as,
Yeah,
and we wanted to talk.
yeah. I mean, there's so many topics, and I think probably those episodes could also be when we're playing a game, and it could just be talking while playing a game. I think
Yeah,
that would be fun too.
yeah. I think we will do a podcast like that where we are just like once this quarantine is over, actually,
Yeah,
is when we'll just sit together, start up a game, and while playing the game, record our commentary on it and talk about what's going
yeah. And,
on
and, and do
and
you
just
do
have a
you
fun
sheep
podcast,
do
chill
you any
podcast
guys
like
do
that.
you sheeps want guys and girls, do you want anything in specific in gaming that you want to talk about, or you want us to cover?
Yeah,
Just
we
go
would love
for
to
it.
hear like anything you guys want to
Gaming
hear
is going
from
to be
us,
like this
any topic.
extended topic that is going to keep going on and on. So let us know and we'll do it.
Yeah, and one last thing I can say, like something you can keep as food for thought here is: do you think gaming is the best form of entertainment? Like in
Mm.
general, do you think gaming is something that is at the pinnacle, at the top of entertainment, or is there something better? And if there is something better, why do you think that is better? Right?
Yeah,
Like honestly, this is another topic we can I think go in depth and within like at some point,
for sure.
but I guess that's for later.
Yeah, I guess we've covered it for now, and it's been
Yeah,
a great learning pod and
but
broadcast.
before
Yeah,
we leave,
yeah,
we
yeah.
gotta do one thing. We
Uh-huh.
gotta do one thing, Z. We cannot forget.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is you guys can follow us on Instagram
Oh, yeah, we got
at
our
the Sheeples
social
People.
started now.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
We have
we
a
are at the Sheeples
website.
People. We are on Twitter at the
Yeah,
Sheeples People,
yeah.
and we are on Reddit at the Sheeples Podcast. Like you can talk
We,
to us on Reddit. You can even follow us on our website, which is thesheeples.in.
yeah, just a bunch
Uh,
of guys talking about chill things, and this is your spot to go. Like in a world full of rehearsed and scripted and serious and just dense topics to talk about. This is where we come in, right? We're just two dudes who love talking, and all of us are sitting together. It's not just two dudes. With you, it's just three friends.
yeah,
We're all
and
chill, right?
yeah, it's just like we want to have fun. We want to talk about stuff, and this is just something we started as a pet project, and we want to build
Yeah.
something out of it. So
No,
I hope
like we
like
said in the first
we'll be able
episode,
to get you guys be to be a part of this journey,
definitely, yeah. And then,
right?
like we said in the first episode, if you haven't checked it out, it was a mental health, and then we spoke about how we really want to create this safe space, a community where there are no hard feelings, and everyone's all comfortable about just listening to things that satisfy your soul, and just like a chicken soup with
Yeah.
a
So I
millennial
guess
soul. And,
yeah.
just come in and just
I
grab
mean,
a
there's a
coffee.
lot we want to work on, right? And we apologize for any like sound issues throughout this particular
Yeah,
podcast because
stupid part in the
again,
middle.
internet
So,
issues can be a big
just
problem
ignore my
here,
joke
especially in
completely.
India.
Okay.
What?
You said sound issues. I said because he farted in the middle and ignored my joke
Oh,
completely.
I couldn't hear you. Like I genuinely your sound cut off for me, so I
Yeah.
couldn't hear you. It might sound you might be heard on the podcast, but
Hmm.
there is a chance like I think I cut you off because I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. Sure.
Sorry for cutting off your joke, dude.
That's fine. That's fine. That's the whole deal with it
But
about
yeah,
podding.
so I mean any issues is because with the quarantine
Yeah.
we don't have the resources and the opportunity to just sit together
Yeah.
in a room and actually record.
Right.
We are in our own homes and there might be some problems here and there, but we apologize and we hope like after this we'll be coming back and improving our quality again.
Yep. We will
So
be.
we just hope you guys stick with us.
All
And
right. And this is
thank
Z
you for
signing
listening.
off.
And this is 8-Bit signing out.
See you
Goodbye,
next
guys.
time.
See you next time.